The Las Vegas Raiders defense has made quarterbacks look better than they are the last few years. They made Baker Mayfield look like John Elway in the closing minutes of the game last year after he'd only been with the Los Angeles Rams for a couple of days. They even made Patrick Mahomes look better than he is in 2019. He threw 3 touchdowns and 1 quarter on him, and it would have been 4 if not for a penalty. The Raiders haven't had a good secondary since Nnamdi Asomugha was a Raider, so the new regime came in and changed some things. Now the Raider defense is looking to make quarterbacks look bad, and they started with their own in training camp. We can panic about Jimmy Garoppolo throwing those interceptions, or we can take into consideration that the Raiders secondary is just different now. When the Raiders first drafted corner Jacorian Bennett, I said he's a steal. It wasn't hard to see. His college stats, athletic testing numbers, and tape are right there with or better than guys that went in the first round. He's looking like a first round pick in training camp now, already working with the first team. He's drawing praise from Raider beat writers, the coaching staff, and his teammates. I keep hearing about how tight his coverage has been and how he's been making plays on the ball. Now let's take into account who he's been doing this with or against. Receiver Philip Dorsett, a known speedster, has been challenging him deep, and Bennett has been right there with him. He's given star receiver Davante Adams and slot receiver Hunter Renfrow that work when lined up across from them too. I'm not saying he's shutting everyone down, but he isn't making it easy. When you can give receivers of that caliber and different types that work, that says a lot about you as a corner. It was reported that he had more than his fair share of those interceptions Garoppolo's been throwing too. I can't wait to see him play against other receivers. On the other side will be the man, not the myth, but the legend, Marcus Peters. Peters has 32 career interceptions in just 7 years in the NFL. He didn't play due to a knee injury in 2021, but he has since come back in 2022 and appears to be all the way back and ready to roll in 2023. It's pretty hard to pick off that many balls when A, teams throw away from the best corner, and B, he plays a lot of press man coverage. He plays other coverages too, but he's known to be one of the best man coverage corners in the NFL. I love how the new regime is going for theirs this year. They know the Raider defense needs turnovers. Their offense has been around the bottom of the league in possessions the last few years, so a guy that averages darn near the same amount of interceptions that the Raiders have had the last few years will be very helpful. But with a wily vet like Peters, it's about much more than what he gives the Raiders as a player. He's a one-man walking wealth of knowledge for the whole defensive backs room. Bennett, the rookie, will benefit most from that knowledge. He's already started digging in his brain, as the media said Bennett stays attached to Peters' hip. It's been reported that corner Nate Hobbs has moved back to slot corner. This is huge if Peters and Bennett play the way I think they will. Hobbs was good last year before his wrist injury, but he was the best slot corner in the NFL as a rookie. Pro Football Focus gave him the highest coverage grade of all the slot corners in the NFL that year. He's good in man, like the Raiders like to play a lot of, and in zone in the slot. He's also a good blitzer. Oh, and he's having a hell of a training camp himself. He's also had some good reps against Dorsett, Renfrow, and Adams. That's a guy with elite speed, an elite slot receiver, and the best receiver in the NFL in practice every day here in camp, so he'll be ready for anything in games. Hobbs is still a young corner in only his 3rd year, so like Bennett, he can learn a thing or two from a guy that has pretty much seen and done it all too. It's pretty exciting to see him go back to the position he's already been the best at. Peters, Bennett, or Hobbs? Who do you throw at? The Raiders need someone that can cover the tight end now because the Kansas City Chiefs are all about Patrick Mahomes to Travis Kelce. The Raiders are different at the safety position too. Strong safety Marcus Epps defends the run best, but he's more than competent at defending the pass. The vet is already having a good effect on free safety Trayvon Merrick. Speaking of Merrick, he's back at free safety, the position he played in college and won the Jim Thorpe Award at. Merrick looked like a solid up-and-coming rookie free safety in 2021, but the new regime decided to move him to strong safety in 2022. They thought he might be able to cover tight ends like Travis Kelce, but it didn't work out, so he really struggled in 2023. But now that he's back at free safety, he's been looking really good in training camp. Sports Illustrated's Albert Breer reported that Merrick's been quote-unquote dominating. He has a couple of those interceptions we've been hearing about Garoppolo throwing too. I've always liked Merrick for his range on the back end, and I'm glad he'll get a chance to use it this year. This is year 3 for him, so it's time for him to be that guy. 2022 undrafted free agent Isaiah Pola-Mao fought his way into the rotation with a strong camp. I hope he can cover opposing tight ends. Remember the days when former Raider quarterback Daryl Carr wouldn't throw an interception in training camp until it was darn near over? There are people that actually believe head coach John Gruden told the defense not to pick his passes off so he can keep his confidence, but come on. The truth is the Raiders didn't have anyone that could. Those days are over now, so while Garoppolo works off the rust from his injury, he'll continue to get picked off. The secondary is different now. You can't have an off day throwing at them, so we can definitely look forward to seeing more passes get picked off in games by the Raiders this year. Thank you for watching. See you next time.